What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fish Over Chicks Woodworking. My name is Peter, and today we're going to be doing the 1 2x6 challenge. We're going to see what we can make out of 1 2x6. I've got some ideas. I'm thinking maybe doing some type of end table or side table, something like that. But before we get into it, I just want to say that me and John are so thankful for all the support that we've gotten over the past couple weeks. The channel's been really taking off. So I just want to say thank you. And we're not slowing down. We're going to just keep pumping out videos. So thank you so much for the support, and thanks for sticking with us. But without further ado, let's see what we can turn this 2x6 into. Alright, so I did decide on a little end table. I figured out how much wood I have here, and it should be just enough for a little end table that is about 20 inches high, 21 inches wide, and 18 inches long. So I think this will be enough. We're going to find out. So let's get this cut up. Okay, so we got all this cut up. We got 4 pieces that are 16 3/4 inches long, 1.5 inches wide, and each of them are 3/4 inches thick. Then over here, we've got 4 pieces that are a little bit longer. These are 19 1/4 inch long, and then also 3/4 inches thick, and then 1.5 inch wide. And those are going to be our legs, so we're going to work with those first. Then over here, we've got 12 pieces that are also 1.5 inches wide. These ones are 1/2 inch thick, and they are 21 inches long. So we've got 12 of those, and those are going to be the top of our end table. And then over here, we've got 2 pieces that are 21 inches long and 2.5 inches wide and 3/4 inches thick. And then we've got 2 that are a little bit shorter, also 3/4 inches thick and 2.5 inches wide. And then these ones are about 17 inches long. So that's all the wood we need. So now what we're going to do is assemble the legs. All right, so what we're going to do for the legs is we're going to take one of our shorter leg pieces, one of our longer leg pieces, and we're going to glue them together just like this. That's going to leave that gap up there, and that's where the support piece is going to sit. So we're just going to lay it down, put some glue on it there, and then lay that on top, clamp that down. All right, so let's go ahead and do that now. All right, now that we got all those clamped and they are drying, we're just going to sit those to the side, and then we're going to get working on the top. All right, so for the top, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is just put a bunch of slats next to each other, just like this. I think that'll look cool. But since I don't want them all to just look like this, to just look like a flat sheet, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a 1/8 inch round over bit on my router. And I'm just going to round the edges just a little bit on all of these. Only on one side, just the top side, because you won't really be able to see the bottom side. And that'll just make it look like it's more all separate pieces and not one big piece together. Make it look like slats, which I think will look cool. So just go ahead and round the edges on all 12 of these now. Alright, so I just rounded all of these. They look good. Now we're just going to wait for those legs to dry so we can move on to the next step. So I'm going to give them about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to put some screws in them just to the top of the bottom, so then we can keep working. But wait for those to dry, and then we'll do the next step. Alright, so now that your legs are dry, it's going to look like this. You've got that little ledge there for the support piece to sit on, just like that. So now we're going to build the frame. So you've got your 4 support pieces, 2 longer ones, 2 shorter ones. So take the longer one and lay it down on the table, and then you're going to take one of your shorter ones, and you're going to want to line up this bottom edge right here to that bottom edge of the longer piece and put it as flush to the edge of this board as you can, and then you're going to draw a line right there. So that's going to mark the thickness there of this piece, because once it is assembled, that piece is going to be right there. So you want to make sure that you've marked that, because that's where you're going to put this leg. This leg is going to be right there, right next to that piece, and you want to leave that room there for then that piece to go like that. So now what we're going to do is do that on all of the edges of the 2 long pieces. Alright, so now you've got your 2 longer pieces all marked up right there. Now what we're going to do is just put a little bit of glue on this part of the leg. just a little bit, nothing crazy. And then we're going to line it up against this line we just drew and just place it down, leaving room right there where that line is. And then if you want to check it, you can put this piece there and see how flush that's going to be. Perfect. And now what I'm going to do is just put a couple screws right in here, just so that we don't have to wait for the glue to dry before moving on to the next step. So I'm going to do that there, and then I'm going to do it on this one, and then we're going to do it with the other set of legs as well. So let's do that now. So I'm going to pre-drill 2 holes in here, just to make sure that nothing splits. Alright, so there we go. We've got one. Now we are going to do the next one. Alright, you've got your first leg done. Now we're going to do that with the next one. So just do that over again. Alright, so now you've got these 2 legs done. You're going to set up your other support pieces right here, and you're just going to connect them all just like that. As you can see, this piece slides right into this little slot that we made there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to glue it, because we don't want to put a nail in right here or a screw in right there. It's just too close to the end, and it'll most likely split. We don't want that. So we're just going to glue. We're going to glue here and here, and then we're going to clamp those pieces to the legs. Alright, so now that you've got those support pieces glued to the legs, go ahead and grab some little clamps. If you don't have little clamps, big ones will work fine. But I definitely suggest the little ones because they're easier to work with in this scenario. So we're going to clamp this part of the leg right here to this board for all of them. And it doesn't need a ton of pressure. Alright, so now that we've got that clamped down with those little clamps, it's looking good. I'm going to let it sit for probably 2 hours just to make sure that the glue has dried and that it's sturdy. If you do have a nail gun, you can put some nails into these little places where the support bar is connected. My nail gun is currently broken, so I'm not going to do that. But that won't hurt if you want to go ahead and do that. So we're going to let this sit for about 2 hours, and then we'll come back, flip it over, and we'll get the top on it. So I realized when I was watching this glue that I could just leave the clamps on and flip it over and then put the top on. So that's what we're doing. Just leave the clamps on, do it very carefully. But what we're going to do is just go around the edge with some glue. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our 12 pieces and we're just going to lay them on top. And as you can see, I'm not doing them perfectly yet. That is just because now that they're on, I'm going to square them all up and then push them down, and then we'll put a weight on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some longer pieces like this, and I'm going to lay them on the edge here because that's where it's being glued down the most. Just like that. And then I'm going to put weights on top of those. 10-pound weights. Just like that. Alright, so got the weights on, so now we're just going to wait, see what I did there, until this is dry, give it a couple hours. Then I'm going to go sand it, and I'm going to go route all the edges with my router, and then I'm going to do a wood burning technique called Shashugiban. Alright, it's the next day, it's dry, so now I'm going to go ahead and sand it. I've got 120 grit sandpaper that I'm going to use, and then I'm going to make my way up to 220 grit. Alright, so now that we've sanded this down, it's just a light sanding so far. Now what I'm going to do is grab my router. I got the 1/8 inch router bit that I used for these top slats, and I'm going to go ahead and round all the edges here that I can on the legs and on the side support pieces here. And then once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and sand it again with the finer grit, which is the 220 grit. All right, looking good. Now I'm going to go ahead and wood burn it. Now to get this cool wood burn look, first of all, it's called Shishugibon. It is an ancient Japanese wood burning technique, which makes the wood look super cool. Basically, you just need a torch. This is just a torch head I bought at Lowe's for like 15 bucks, and then this is a $4 tank of propane that you can buy. So basically, all you're gonna do is turn it on, press the button, and you're just gonna go a few inches away from it and just lightly go back and forth a few times. Alright, so now that we've got it all wood burned, I decided to go with a nice light wood burn, not make anything too dark. So I think it looks great. Now what we're going to do is grab a metal brush, and you're just going to go ahead and brush. What that's doing is it's getting off all the little pieces of ash. It's not super dark, so there's not going to be a ton. So go over it lightly with the brush for a bit, and then once you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and poly it, just like you would poly anything else. So pretty easy to do, and it comes out looking really cool. I like it a lot more than stain. I think it's more of a natural look. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. That is my 2x6 challenge. One 2x6 turned into this nice little end table. So not a bad project. I had fun doing it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment down below any other videos you'd like us to make. We're always happy to do that. Again, thank you so much for the support we've gotten the channel recently. It's been awesome to see the channel grow. And please subscribe. But until next video, thank you for watching. The pencil wasn't even close to the camera.